Hi, this is Majinoni. Here's some comic reviews for you. We have Guardians of the Galaxy #1, Uncanny Avengers 5, and the 3 Age of Ultron books that came out. Let's start with Guardians of the Galaxy. Now, for me, Guardians of the Galaxy was a lot of fun. Bendis is doing a really great job at this, laying down the foundation of the characters, giving you a sense of this is what the universe is like for the people who've never read Guardians of the Galaxy before. And also what he did was he tied in how Peter was the Star-Lord that was in the last Guardians book, and that he acknowledges the fact that he took down Thanos and he somehow escaped the Cancerverse, which leads to me to believe if Star-Lord escaped, what happened to Rich Rider? Is he alive? Is he still on the other side? Is he going to come back in some capacity? Now, beyond that, I think the art is really, really solid. McGiven did a really great job with this, and I mean, for the most part, I wouldn't expect you to think that there's going to be fireworks in this book, but what you're going to get is a good idea of, like I said, the state of the universe. Basically, what's going on is Peter's dad, if you remember in the .1 issue, he was the prince, and now he's the king, and he basically has this weird truce going on where Earth is off limits. Well, of course, you say Earth is off limits, somebody's going to challenge that, and it's the Badoon. And I'm really, really happy to see that the Badoon is involved because we haven't seen them in a long time. And, of course, we have Tony flying around in space going, hey, you should have done this a long time ago. This is great. And, I'm like, whatever. You'll come back on Earth, and everything will be back to normal again. But anyways, overall, really entertaining read. Highly recommend Guardians. Okay. Uncanny Avengers #5. This is your bridge issue here again, where you have Red Skull going on the rampage, killing everybody in the city, causing the riot, and then now the people want answers. Well, the Avengers are here to explain how everybody should be friends. Now, the other important thing that's going on in here is this. We're reintroducing Wonder Man into the Avengers, and he doesn't want to punch people. What's up with that? His name is Wonder Man, not I am Peaceful Man. Also, you have the Wasp finally coming back into the fold with the Avengers. You have a little friction between Rogue and then the Avengers because she wants to replace a picture of the Avengers with Professor X. You have poor Havoc who's trying to keep everything together. You have a redemption of sorts with Sunfire and how he was a four horseman. He had lost his legs. He got his legs back, and he's now a joke has-been alcoholic, and now he's basically going to make himself like a hero again. On top of all of this nonsense, you have a birth. And this birth is very, very significant to the people who read Remender's X-Force. Because if you remember during X-Force, Warren was the Dark Angel who was Apocalypse. And he did the naughty with one of his four horsemen, and now he's got two children, the twins of Apocalypse. And who do we have stepping in? Kang. This is the heralding of a very big story, and I am very confident and happy that Remender is behind this because this is going to be freaking awesome. The art is also really good. I'm really enjoying it. I love the way the faces look in some cases. They have a lot of personality. And I like even how Havoc goes out there and he's like, well, don't really call us mutants. And then a reporter's like, well, what should I call you if you don't want to be called mutants? He's like, just call me Alex. And I really like that interaction. And it's giving him a more leaderly-like quality, despite the fact he's standing next to Captain America. Overall, great issue, and there is a death. One of these characters kills somebody, which makes me believe it's a setup. Anyways, and really enjoyed it, and there is no way you can guess who the person is. But I'll give you a clue, it's on this side. Okay. Age of Ultron. Now, apparently there's a sequence to this. So let's do this first. Fantastic Four, #5. Fantastic issue. Everything about this issue is great. The art is good. The whole storytelling is just simply amazing. Fraction did a home run like you wouldn't believe. And this is why I'm telling you that this is a home run. See, this is the issue here where the Fantastic Four is in space. They get word that Ultron has invaded, and they immediately come back, leaving their kids up in space. And here's the deal: based on the Age of Ultron #1, we know that they all died except for Invisible Woman. And the way, it's not necessarily the way they die, because I do have issues with the way Human Torch and the Thing die, but it's what they do after they die. See, because what happens is, there you see this hologram that the kids are looking at, and initially the hologram, let me see here. See, like for an example here, they have the Human Torch, and then he gives his little speech to the kids, and then you see Ben Grimm appear, and then he gives this little speech to the kids, and then their dad appears, Reed, and he can't even talk. He's like using note cards, and he's saying what he wants to say. It was very, very touching. And the other thing is, there's a revelation. In this revelation is the Thing is he's crushed, and he's like, you know what? I think I screwed up. And when I was in college, there was a guy named Victor, and he was next to us, and he was an arrogant bastard, and I tampered with his machine. I think I caused Dr. Doom. Boom! Cat's out of the bag. A whole new storyline opens up, and of course, what does it matter? It's the Age of Ultron. Well, let me tell you this: they're not dead, because here is Fantastic Four #9, and they're dealing with that very subject right there. And they're still dealing with the fact of how the costumes are killing them. So you don't have to worry about it. The Fantastic Four are somehow going to be alive after the end of Age of Ultron. That's why I guess it has to do with time travel. They're going to reset stuff. Anyways, let's get back to this. See, this is why I think this works over Injustice. Injustice, yeah, you have people getting killed, and you have Superman going rogue, and then he, punches the Joker, his fist goes right to the Joker. You have Lois Lane dying. You have all this other death. You have, Superman destroying Hal's Ring, and there's no emotional impact to it. You read Rot World, and, from Animal Man, Swamp Thing. And again, you have these zombie-ified creatures, and they're killing everything. There's no emotional impact to it. But I'm telling you, the way the Thing dies, you get an emotional impact. The way the Human Torch died, it didn't hold as much of an impact to me, but it's what is said after the fact, and how he goes down, what he says. The way Reed Richards dies, man, you see the tears in his eyes. This is how you do it. This is how you kill heroes. Now, I think what we're going to have is people arguing over the fact, well, I don't think that should have happened that way. They could have had easily a 5-issue series just from having these characters die. But you have to keep in mind, they have to move this thing along quickly. Otherwise, this story will be too big to match what's going on here. So I understand why people are dying really quick. And in a sense, that's what could theoretically happen. Fantastic Four arrive, don't know what's going on, boom, hundreds of Ultrons appear. What do you think is going to happen? But regardless of how we argue how they died, I think it still holds an emotional impact, especially that artwork. The artwork is just fantastic. And at the end, it's like, what do we do now? They're alone in space, and they don't know what happened, other than they're suspecting those 3 people died, but they did not see the video for their mom. Great story. The Superior Spider-Man. Okay, imagine this. This is the 9th inning, and you got a man on first. Well, Fantastic Four. Okay, no, let me rephrase my statement. It's the bottom of the 9th. Your team's losing. Fantastic Four steps up. Boom! Home run. Then Superior Spider-Man comes up. Boom! Grand slam. You've won the game. That's how good this book was. And it's good for a couple of different reasons. What we still have is the Superior Spider-Man, so it's Doc Ock. And, he still has this Doc Ock mentality where I am in charge. You're peons. Even though you're my friends, I don't care who you are. I don't respect you. You are trash. You are street trash to me. And you can see the defeated look on all the heroes. And then Spider-Man's just like, screw you. I'm going to be the one to take down Ultron because I am the superior intellect. I can outmaneuver everybody. Well, he tries that, fails. And what happens when he fails? He realizes what made Peter Parker stronger. He realizes Peter Parker believed in his friends. He believed that his friends should be counted on and should work together. And that was his strength. It wasn't just him, because Ultron played him for a fool. And if he did not do his little side thing to try to beat Ultron all by himself, Tony's plan might have worked. And in fact, he even acknowledges your plan would have worked. And this is why I've said from the very beginning, and I've stood behind Superior Spider-Man. This is one of the greatest character-driven storylines we have seen in the Amazing Spider-Man's history. And it's because what we're doing is we're taking a criminal, we're putting him in the place of a hero, and he's learning what it means to be a hero. And granted, along the way, he's stumbling, and he's making mistakes, and he's screwing things up royally. And it's the fall that we're all going to cheer, and we're going to be so happy for. But until that happens, there's these amazing character-driven parts that just make this book awesome. The art is also really good, too. I really enjoyed it. I actually enjoyed watching the thought process within Spider-Man, how he's going to beat Ultron, and fantastic read. Now, Age of Ultron #3. This is where I think we're going to find some people disagreeing. Personally, I think this is a great book, but I think this is a great book for probably a lot of reasons that a lot of you people don't think it's going to be great. And that's because what we're doing is we're establishing what's going on. You just can't attack Ultron. Ultron's winning. Actually, let me rephrase it. Ultron has, for the most part, won. And so you just can't mount an attack plan and expect that it's over in 2 issues. You have to see what's going on, and that's what this issue is giving us. See, we already know that the Owl and Hammerhead were trying to sell Peter to Ultron. We don't know why. So what the heroes have decided to do was they took Luke Cage and She-Hulk, and they decided, those two volunteered basically to go to Ultron's base and barter, and to find out, A, what's inside the base, 2, what does Ultron want. And they basically agreed with She-Hulk because she's technically invulnerable. Now, the Wolverine also did volunteer, but Wolverine has adamantium. So what would happen is he would just get his adamantium sucked out of him, and then that's going to be the end of Wolverine. Now, this is why I'm saying that this was a solid read, because what we're doing is we're seeing some desperation with the heroes. We're seeing sacrifice, with the, what are the heroes willing to give up? I mean, She-Hulk is basically willing to give up her life just in the hope that something happens, that they can learn something to, defeat Ultron. And at the end is the swerve. Now, Bendis has stated that there is a swerve at the end, and this was a swerve right here in issue 3, because there's somebody else in charge. And I think if you look at the history of Ultron, it makes 100% sense. On the other hand, you want to know, how did that get to where it got? I mean, that is something that, it's basically gave you a bombshell at the end that makes you want to read more, and that's why this book is a solid read. Now, I think part of the problem we're going to have is we're going to have people going, well, I didn't think it moved far enough. I don't think we got enough story. There wasn't enough action. But we did get some good action with the Hulk, the Red Hulk, Taskmaster, and Black Panther trying to get some piece of Ultron's technology. And there's a little bit of tragedy that happens amongst this group of people. One interesting thing of note, if you notice that Taskmaster is drawn different ways, and currently he's drawn as his face is a skull. And in this case, this is the way it should be, a mask. Because if you look at the original Taskmaster, it was a mask. But other than that, I'm really enjoying it. And it's a shame that Hitch is not going to be drawing the entire run, because I would literally, I mean, this is just simply uh, a story done at its best. Like, even with going back to DC's Rot World, you knew from the very beginning Rot World was going to get retconned back out, because it was an alternate dimensional history thing that we knew was never going to stick, because you still have other comics going. Age of Ultron is the same thing. You know that everything's going to get retconned back out at some point, but what you don't know is what's going to stay. And I think, for me, that is part of what makes this story much more appealing to me. It's the journey of what happened, what sacrifices are people going to make to win, and what doesn't quite get changed, what keeps, what's changed, what's going on at the end of this, and how is this going to neatly fit into everything else that's going on in the universe at this time. That's why this, I think, storyline is so far a win. Anyways, let's get you a free book, shall we? How about Guardians? Anyways, like the Facebook link that's right there. I do anime reviews on Crunchyroll, so there's that. They're free, and this code is TMM TMM24 PMTTT 5A. Anyways, that's it for today. So until next time.